It's picnic time, and I have the perfect pack just for you. We're going to start with the muffaletta, and muffaletta is just a sandwich that is filled with a lot of different meats and cheeses, and then we're going to make an olive relish that goes with the muffaletta. So let's get started. First, you have a round loaf, and it's Italian loaf, or you can use like a Hawaiian bread, which is a sweeter loaf if you want it sweeter. But what I'm going to do is cut this loaf in the upper third instead of half. Some people cut it in half. I like to do the upper third. I'm also going to use a serrated knife because this will give us a nice even cut all the way around. You want to be careful you don't cut yourself, by the way. Instead of using a chef knife, this is your chef knife. If you use a chef knife, it's going to cause you to have messed up bread, and you don't want that. So we have our bread in half, and now what we're going to do is we are going to hollow out the inside because we want to make like a case for this, the luncheon meats to set in. So we're just going to pull this apart and save all your bread because you'll be able to use this for breadcrumbs for other recipes. And you kind of want to hollow it out pretty good, because make a deep cavity because we have a lot of meats and cheeses that we're going to put in this muffaletta. And muffalettas are great for picnics because you can make this ahead. In fact, all my recipes for this picnic are make-ahead recipes, and they're simple and easy. You also want to tear out the bread from the center top loaf too. So we're just going to take all this out and leave a cavity in there. All right, we'll set that aside. And at this point, if you want to, you can put this underneath a broiler and broil it for a few minutes, and that way it'll harden up the crust, and then when you put your olive relish in there, it's not going to soak through the bread. But in the meantime, we're going to set this aside, and I'm going to show you how to make the olive relish. You want to start with about 1/4 cup of chopped red onions, which I've already chopped so I wouldn't cry. And then you want to add some black and green olives, and I'm going to give these a rough chop with my chef knife. And you could put these in the food processor if you want to, but we don't want it really fine. We want some chunks in there too, or heavier pieces. So we're going to chop that up and give that a nice chop. You may have some olives that like to stray away, but that's about 1/4 cup of black olives and just a few green olives, because the next thing that we're going to add to this olive relish is an Italian antipasta mix, and that has cauliflower, carrots, onions, celery. So I'm going to go ahead, and you can buy this in a jar and it's pickled, and I'm going to pour this into my strainer because we don't want all that juice in our muffaletta. That's a little bit of a seasoning there, but as you can see, it's very colorful. It does have green olives in it, so we're going to let that drain out really well. Get all that juice off of there. You can save that juice for another recipe if you want to, because it's pasteurized and clean. Okay, now let's add that to the mix. Okay, we're still going to chop. This has celery and cauliflower. This just gives the olive relish a nice, good-looking, crisp, pretty sandwich. It's great for presentation, and it tastes good. And so we'll just chop this all up and continue chopping. And like I said, you could put this in the food processor if you have one. If you don't have one, you can do what I'm doing and just give it a rough chop, because this will go into the sandwich. And the neat thing is you can make this ahead of time so that all the flavors will meld together, and that'll be good. Be very good. Okay, all right, now let's put this in our little bowl. That celery piece is a little bit too big. Let me take him out. Okay, then what we're going to do, we're going to add a teaspoon of garlic powder and a teaspoon of oregano, a little bit of salt and pepper, just a little bit, and last but not least, olive oil. We're just going to drizzle that on top. We don't want this too soupy. And let me grab a spoon, and we will stir this up a little bit here. There we go. This is going to make a great muffaletta. You can see that it's not real soupy, so that's a good thing. Okay, Now, since my board is wet, I'm going to take a piece of wax paper and put over the top because it's time for us to build our sandwich. Okay, we're going to start with the olive relish, and we'll put that in the bottom of the bowl. And we're also going to put a little bit on the top because we're going to sandwich all that together. Okay, now we have our luncheon meats, and I like to start with the cheese first, and I have laid out everything so that we can easily layer the cheese. The next thing we'll put in is the ham, and I like to use Black Forest ham, but you can use whatever ham you want, Virginia baked or doesn't matter, however, whatever ham you like. Then we have our peppered turkey. Peppered turkey just gives it a little extra punch, and I did cut the pieces in half so it would fit inside of my loaf. Okay, then we're going to add a little bit of hard salami, and usually about 10 slices is pretty good for your salami. And then we have our Swiss cheese. We're going to add some Swiss cheese to this. And the fun thing is, now you're going to go back in reverse. You're going to put some more salami in here, and then you're going to add more turkey. If you lay your lunch meat out on a tray like this, it really helps you keep focused on what you put in and what you need to add next. And then we'll add a little bit more ham. So as you can see, we're building this sandwich. It's going to be absolutely gorgeous. And then we end with the cheese once again. Okay, now for the fun part. We put the lid on top of the muffaletta. Ta-da! That's pretty good. So at this point, you can wrap this in plastic wrap and put it in the refrigerator overnight, and all those juices will blend together in the meats. It'll be absolutely delicious. But I think I'm going to go ahead and slice it so you can see what's inside. Using my serrated bread knife, I'm cutting through. I'm going to rotate it this way, and then I'll turn it around so you can see it. Just saw that through there. Make sure I got all that cut. Okay, and look. Oops, please don't fall apart on me. Look, isn't that gorgeous? It's beautiful. So what you're going to do at this point for a picnic, you can wrap this in plastic wrap, and then you can put it in a cute little box, which I have right here for your presentation. Have a cute little box, put your wrapped sandwich in there, and you are good to go. That's one way to package your muffaletta.
Create your own backyard vacation with this red, white, and blue Sassyscape, a pond-side picnic. Brightly colored boxes, bags, and baskets are filled with make-ahead picnic fare. Serve up a mouth-watering muffaletta, a wedge of brie, and a plate full of cookies, then relax and linger all day pondside. We are serving it up sassy for summer. Now you can too.
Coming up after the break.
Doesn't that make a beautiful salad?
Serve It Up Sassy is presented by Food City.